Hey everyone, welcome to a special bonus episode of Locked On Lakers for a Saturday. Brian Kamenetsky, Andy Kamenetsky. It wasn't pretty at all, but the Lakers got the job done. Anthony Davis, 23 and 19. Hey, a win's a win, right? That's next.
You are Locked On Lakers, your daily Los Angeles Lakers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks to everybody for making Locked On Lakers first listen of every day, Monday through Friday, and obviously sometimes on weekends, no matter how or where you get your podcasts. Always free and never behind a paywall. And Locked On Lakers on YouTube is where over 23,000 subscribers are. Really hoping the Lakers can button things up a little tighter Sunday against Indianapolis, or Indiana, I should say, because
we're using the formal version of the Pacers.
That's Mr. Indianapolis to you and me.
Oh, come on! Indianapolis was my father. You can call me Indiana.
Call me Indiana. I think if we were better friends, I could shorten it to Indiana, but we're going with Indianapolis. So anyway, the Lakers. It was not an inspiring game by any stretch, but it got the job done, thankfully, because the Sixers aren't very good. Final score 101-94. The Lakers get the badly needed win that they had to have, with a big fourth quarter push in what had been basically a tie game throughout most of it. More, Andy, I thought, ugly lines for the Lakers than notable ones. It's much easier to pick out who didn't look good on Friday than who did.
I mean, just collectively, the Lakers have 21 turnovers that got turned into 27 points for Philadelphia. I mean, like the Lakers, to their credit, I think for a lot of this game played some of the best defense we've seen in a while from them. Yeah. Certainly the most active. Spencer Dinwiddie, I thought, was in the middle of some of the best. We'll probably get to him a little bit more, but just off the top, this was the best game Spencer Dinwiddie's had as a Laker. He looked terrific on both ends of the floor. He was really, really good, and I thought it made a difference. But Philly shot 34% from the field, 21% from behind the arc, and they were in this game basically because the Lakers just kept giving them the ball.
Yes.
To also put this further in perspective, they took 96 shots in this game. The Lakers took 73. And I realized the Lakers went to the line 33 times, but guess what? Philly went 24. So this was not one of those deceptive, but the Lakers were just aggressively attacking No. The Lakers were, I don't think as teammates, LeBron and D'Lo have been this mutually sloppy with the ball ever.
It was very notable. I mean, you look at Anthony Davis, I mentioned it, 23 and 19, 4 blocks, 10 of 16 from the floor. Very good game from AD. Particularly,
it took him a bit to get going, but once he did,
the total package of it was pretty impressive, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. But 7 of 15 from LeBron with 8 turnovers and only against 6 assists.
Felt like more.
It did. It really did.
Turnovers, not assists.
Right. I knew what you meant. D'Lo 4 of 13. Rui Hachimura. He did, by the way, Russell did in that 4 of 13. All of them were from 3. Set a single season record for 3-pointers made by a Laker, passing Nick Van Exel. But Rui was 4 of 10. Not super efficient for him.
He got off to a great start.
He did, and then it was just, it kind of fell into the rhythm of the game for the Lakers. Not a particularly notable game for Austin Reeves either. He did get the line 8 times. Just overall, it just wasn't a great game. The bench, outside of the 11 points from Dinwiddie, the other 3 guys who played combined for 5 points. So a typical Lakers.
Actually, they didn't so much combine as Jackson Hayes scored all 5.
Well, I mean, they combined.
I'm just saying, I don't want people to think one guy had 2, another guy hit a free throw, another guy no, Jackson Hayes in his own right. I actually thought Jackson Hayes played well in this game.
Yeah,
too.
He's excused. He's fine. In the 8 minutes he played, he was fine. So it wasn't a good game, but Golden State lost at home to Indianapolis, and that is a big thing for the Lakers. That that's a game that they gain on the Warriors. Like, it would be nice, Andy, if the Lakers had played a better game than they did. They're certainly going to have to play better on Sunday against the Pacers, but who are a significantly better team than Philly. But I guess it beats the alternative.
The Lakers, on one hand, got 3 days rest, which is great, and I think they've needed it. On the other hand, they looked like a team, despite practicing 2 of those 3 days, that was extremely rusty. Stu Lance.
They looked to me like they were insisting on a 4th day of rest, to be honest with you.
Stu Lance commented a few times during the game just how many possessions there were that seemingly took forever just to get into their sets. Like, it was both teams were pretty ugly, but like the Lakers, I thought Stu also made a very good point that Philadelphia's defense, which to be fair, I thought was very good in this game too. Philly had them kind of on tilt. It seemed like, I mean, they were very quick with their hands. They were very disruptive. They were very active, and the Lakers, to put it mildly, did not react well.
No,
they did get sped up. Something like that, I think, can encourage some of Austin Reeves's worst habits as a ball handler, like in terms of just dribbling himself into what are you doing, man? Here's the perfect embodiment of it. There's probably 30 seconds left in the game, something like that, 45. Lakers are up 99-94 after Tobias Harris hits free throws. LeBron very casually inbounds to a very casual Anthony Davis, who has the ball taken away from him. Maxey drifts into a corner 3, misses. But if he had made that, all of a sudden this gets really interesting.
The game that was over wouldn't have been anymore. It would have been really bad. So there's not much to say about it even. It's like, obviously if they play like this with any kind of regularity, they're going to lose. But like, we know that. And we're sort of waiting for this run of play where the Lakers are dominant, where they look really good, where they look like they're ready to make a multi-game run. But I mean, I mentioned this for Friday's show, Andy. The Lakers had much more difficulty with the should win games than they have against the best teams in the West. Like, these are the games all season long, and it does not speak highly of the team that this is true, but these are the games all year long where the Lakers have really struggled to play 48 good minutes, or in the case of Friday, 4.8 good minutes, like any of it.
I do think a hopeful takeaway from this game in terms of a trend moving forward is the way Dinwiddie played. I mean,
That's the big one,
particularly in the first half, but throughout the game, he was fantastic defensively. I mean, he had multiple possessions where whoever he was guarding, he harassed into a stop. He blocked at least one jumper. There was another jumper that I thought maybe he got a piece of that he didn't get credit for, but either way, it led to a 24-second violation. He was hounding whoever he was assigned to really, really effectively. And then offensively, it wasn't just the 11 points, which is a Laker high for him since joining the team. He took 8 shots, which for Dinwiddie this season with the Lakers is the equivalent of like when Kobe put up 50 in his final game. And he hit 3 threes, and he was more aggressive with the ball. Like, he did not seem to be looking to get rid of it, and to sort of move it along and be like the team guy, seemingly like he had before. I hope whatever he was looking for heading into this game, he bottles up and continues, because he looked really, really good. I also thought it was interesting too. Cam Reddish closed the game ahead of Rui.
And I think
in his first game back,
I think that's an indication that this is one of those games the Lakers felt like, look, we're not going to score. Like, we're up by 7-8 points now. we're going to win this game by keeping Philadelphia from scoring.
Sure. It's just interesting to see that in Reddish's first game back.
Yeah, I understand what you're getting at.
Especially after the conversation we had off that viewer question about whether or not it would make sense to swap Reddish. The viewer suggested for Reeves, but I threw out the idea for Rui as a defensive substitute. Obviously, that's not what happened in this game, but down the stretch, Reddish was, like you said, in there for defensive purposes.
Yeah, and I want to, before we go, note the Dinwiddie thing, because it's the question with Dinwiddie. It reminds me a little bit of what I said a lot last year with Malik Beasley, who was struggling, and the Lakers worked really hard to try to get him going, and it never really worked. It's working much better in Milwaukee this year.
Well, he has said, Beasley, he wasn't specific about what, but he said that there was some stuff going on in his personal life while he was with the Lakers, that he really put the blame for the stint being so unsuccessful in LA on himself.
Right. But the Lakers were trying to get him going because the version of the Lakers that had the Malik Beasley that's playing like he is in Milwaukee this year had a really high upside. And it's the same thing with Dinwiddie. It's like, if they can get him to play at that level, the upside is so strong that it's worth the bumps along the way, because the Lakers are going to need it. And so maybe this is the beginning of that. So anyway, we'll be back after Sunday's game.
Last thing I wanted to say real quick, with D'Lo breaking Nick Van Exel's record, it's very, I think, fitting and poetic that D'Angelo Russell would break a record held by Nick Van Exel, just because there's a lot of commonalities between those guys as Lakers. Both these lefty point guards, very score first in a lot of ways, who at their best could just be really charismatic and really fun, really entertaining, but also rubbed a lot of Laker fans the wrong way a lot of times for feeling too aloof, or
there's similarities.
Good point. They're kind of spirit animals.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I see what you're getting at, for sure. But it's good. It's a good thing. It's a well-earned record for D'Lo this year.
Oh yeah.
And the type of thing that it's just a nice little, be a nice little thing for him to be able to point to.
That's awesome.
It's survive in advance, Andy. I think if we were using NCAA tournament parlance, that's what the Lakers did. So we'll be back on Sunday, of course, but not before we tell you about this.
Well, that Locked On Lakers is brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 3 million members. The easiest, most exciting way to play DFS. It's just you against the numbers. You pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. It's demon time on Prize Picks. You can now win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000. Demons and Goblins are the newest and most exciting way to play at Prize Picks. Squares marked with red demons or green goblins get you different payouts. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday, where they discount select player projections up to 25% to give you even more value. Prize Picks now offers Apple Pay for easy and quick deposits into your account this basketball season. So go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA. Use the code LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Locked On Lakers also brought to you by eBay. eBay Motors, passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. We're talking superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights. If you've heard Andy's story, fire extinguishers, more than any. There's every part you could ever need for anything, whether you're into speed, power, or style. eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts, I did not know cars had that many parts in them. For your #1 ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or your money back, because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need and all at the prices that you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit, available only to U.S. customers. Lakers win. We don't have to really editorialize if it was pretty or not. It still counts as a victory. You don't get more victories if you win in stylish fashion. We'll see everyone on Monday.